Life. I hope that you're doing great and that your year of 2024 is ending on a good note. For us, it is. We still have challenges in front of us because we have goals. We have things that we are looking forward to. And so I'm going to be sharing a little bit of this journey, and it's going to be a positive journey in terms of what we're doing, how we're going to reach those goals, and how we're going to be successful at it. It doesn't mean that we have to be millionaires to be successful. It means using our resources, using our space, and using our heart to actually evaluate what is important to us. And so one of the things I've been doing, you guys saw that I redid my sewing area. I actually haven't been down there since because we've had other things that we're trying to go through. And I've done some decluttering of going through some boxes and stuff. They're gone. This past weekend, my husband and I decided, or maybe I decided, we went through our kitchen. Not the whole thing, but when Christmas and Thanksgiving were here, I went through my hutch and I said, okay, I've got everything I want. I don't want to get rid of those specialty dishes because I like serving on different plates all the time. And so I didn't go through those because I already had. I have a lovely set my grandmother left me, and then I have little small sets that I've picked up that, you know, that's just me. I just find it to be pretty to add to what my meal is. It just makes it pretty for me. My husband, he could care less. But he does that. He allows me to enjoy this because it makes me happy. Plus, I love cooking in my kitchen. I love the foods that we make, and I love how I prepare the food. And presentation is just an added thing that makes me feel good. And does that mean I'm going to get rid of dishes? I got rid of some, but I didn't get rid of all of them because I enjoy it. But what I want to talk about today is my husband and I decided, is I was going to go through my kitchen cutlery, my pots and pans, and I've been really bothered. About 6 years ago, I purchased a set of cookware that, you know, what is it called? Nothing sticks, a non-stick cookware. And I was told it was great. The website had good reviews. They guarantee their product and all that. And then it started you could see the cut marks. You could see all the stuff that is in the cookware. So my husband loves that cookware, but I told him, I said, honey, look at this. This is going to get into your food. It's been in our food. We need to get rid of it. And he was just like, but Laura, I said, we have other cookware. I have been adding, little by little, I've been adding cast iron. I've had some, and I've just, little by little, been adding cast iron. I love how my food comes out in a cast iron pan. But the other thing is, what I paid in, I think it was 2018, 2019, I think it was around 2018, I purchased this full set of cookware that was highly recommended to me by my oldest daughter. She said, Mom, this is great. And we liked it at first. But you have to be very careful. You can't cut your steak in that pan. You have to take it out and cut it. You have to be careful not to use any sharp tools in these nonstick cookware pieces. So, you know, habits are hard to change, but not only that, not everybody wants to take it out and put it in another plate. And you know what? I don't like nagging my husband, and I don't like nagging myself, because I too have done that. And then as I was looking at it, even though we mostly used the silicone utensils or the wooden stuff, it wasn't enough sometimes. Sometimes we took the metal pieces, the stainless steel. So I was showing him, I said, honey, these are not looking good. I have to get rid of them. Now, at that time, I spent about $200 because I got it on a 50% sale score, because that's how I shop for things that I'm going to be using for long term. I expected that set to last me a long time. 6 years isn't enough, in my opinion. But, you know, he was kind of concerned. So I have my cast iron, and then I have my Reorganize that we bought before we got married. We were married in 1980, so it was around 1979 we bought our first cookware. And I liked it. It was you got your couple saucepans, you got 2 fry pans, you got a big bucket, sauce. I mean, I can't think of it right now. Anyways, you get this basic 5-6 piece, and then the covers and stuff. and it had the copper bottom, and we liked it. It did well, and then we just put it aside because we wanted something different. We were slowly picking up these whatever pieces of, they were easier to cook in, the non-sticks. They were easier to cook in. So then I noticed with them that was happening. Then my daughter said, no, this new set will take care of it. We got rid of that other stuff. So 6 years ago, we had this new set, and I'm not going to say the name because I don't think it's appropriate. Non-stick cookware is not good if you're not really adamant about using the proper stuff. And when I went and looked on, because they said that they guarantee their product, not if you're using the way we were using it. We didn't use the scrubbers, we didn't use steel wool, we didn't do any of that for cleaning. We soaked it, we wiped it, we did everything right in that regard. So I said, you know what? This is a lesson learned. Don't go by recommendations, go by what is factual. Stainless steel is excellent to cook on, and so is the lodge or cast iron. And you have to make sure you take care of your cast iron. Don't let it sit and soak. After we wash it down, we dry it and we put it on our burner, and then it dries it naturally. And then I might oil it up a little bit and then dry it so that the season stays there. Now, there's other things we can do and stuff, but that's not what I'm going to talk about here. So, do I have cookware? I still have cookware. And one of the things that I'm hoping to do is to get certain pieces in stainless steel. But that's down the road. Is it a necessity today? Not at all. And we're also trying to reduce how much space is in our kitchen working area. We have a small house. We have a small kitchen. But in that, I'm trying to utilize every space possible. So this weekend, we have 3 drawers in our kitchen, plus 2 that are in our hutch. Our hutch has the miscellaneous. It's all divided. It's got spots for can openers, and I have some things with to check the thermometers, the cooking thermometers. I have pie servers, and I have too many of those. And as I was going through, my husband says, "Why do you need so many?" I said, "Well, when we used to go to family reunions or family gatherings and stuff, I would bring a pie and I would just make sure I had a server just in case, and sometimes if you are hosting anything, you might want to have extra because not everybody brings a server with them." So I never really got rid of them. And as we were going through, that was one thing I did not reduce. Should I have? I don't know, maybe. What I did was I went through my measuring spoons. I have a whole lot of them. And so what I did was I kind of went through, and the measuring cups and stuff like that. Part of the reason I have extra sets is because when I'm cooking, I might use 1 cup for dry, another cup for moist, or I might have butter in one and peanut butter in the other, same measurement. So for me, it works for what I'm doing, and so it just makes it easier, most especially if I'm videotaping what I'm cooking. It's just nice and handy to have those extra things. In addition, sometimes what I do is I have purchased extra measuring spoons because of our coffee, how we organize, and I'll show how I organize my coffee area. And not tonight, but what I do is I just use extra spoons in each of those containers so they're in with that. So we did end up buying a few of those, and then I used some for my herbs and stuff like that. But I went through those and I got rid of that. We got rid of plasticware that you can't see on. It's gotten worn. Even though we thought some of this stuff was good, we just kind of started going through. And I had my husband help me because even though the kitchen is kind of like my domain, he also lives here. He also he cooks once in a while. He's getting more involved in cooking. He likes to be around. He wants to know where things are. So it's actually kind of a good idea to have your spouse or your partner to know where everything is. So he worked with me and I laid things out on the table. And this is the process I have gone through in trying to reduce all the excess in our house. I'm just taking segments. And even though I felt like my kitchen was more organized, there's things I can still do. A small kitchen will always look busy, Even though we try to keep it clean and organized, it can still look busy. But what I did was I went through, I took all the measuring things and I put them on the kitchen table, and I started going through and said, okay, we can get rid of this. And I started throwing them in a pan or a bucket or a bowl. I forgot. I think it was a measuring bowl. Started throwing them in. And he says, you don't want these? I said, nope. And so what we decided to do right from the get-go is I said, when I put it in there, when it's full enough or when you're going out to do something, take it out and put it in our recycle bucket. Now we have a trash can, a regular sized trash can, that we have our recycles in, whether it's gallons, the milk gallons, or whether creamer things and all that, all the plastic and any glass that we don't want to keep. So I would put it there and he would take it out and dump it. And he never once asked me, are you sure? And I don't want him to, because once I made the decision for it to go, it goes. We got rid of, he said that the barrel is 1/3 full. That's a lot of plastic that was in here. And we had some other things like knives and stuff that we packaged up to donate. And because I went through and it's like, I have plenty of knives. I've got plenty of this and that. And I still have too much. I will not deny that, because as somebody who enjoys cooking, I also like to make sure I have everything that I'm comfortable using. As time goes on, I might get rid of a few more things. Some of the cutlery that we got rid of was just stuff we no longer wanted. I still have too many spoons. I actually have some spoons that are for, I can't even think of it, one of the fruits that you dig in. It's not cantaloupe, it's it'll come to me. It's a citrus, and I don't enjoy it. So I put it in the drawer, and he goes, why are you keeping these? And there's only 4 spoons. I said, someday I might like it. And he goes, are you sure? I said, I don't want, it's just 4 spoons. I said, I don't want to go and buy some for that if, in the event that somebody comes to live with us and they like it and so forth. So I said, plus I can use it in other things when I'm making fruit salads and stuff like that. So I said, I'm not getting rid of it. So that stayed. But we slowly got rid of some things. And I went through the cutlery before, and when we redid the kitchen, and I had the stuff in their drawers, and the guy who came in to put the counter in, there was 3 men that came in, and you have to wait for the counters to come in because your stove has to be hooked up, your counters have to be in place, and it's a process waiting for them to come in. So they came in and they put it in, and of course everything is open on the top part. The swivel thing that holds our pots and pans, I didn't care. But the drawers that had spoons and knives and a few of the cutlery things, he looked in the one with the spoons and the forks and the knives, your typical everyday wear, and he says, why do you have so much? And I gave him a look that made him step back. He goes, oh, wait a minute. He goes, I made the mistake once of throwing away my wife's cutlery one time. I said, you did what? He goes, and I didn't ask her, I just did it because it was too much. I said, that's not a good thing. I said, so why are you now asking me? He goes, I'm not. I'm done. I'm not going to ask you. So what I explained to him, I said, the reason we have 2 full sets, my husband and I have different desires. We have different ways. We have our original cutlery that we got when we got married. I still like that. And then, actually we have 3 sets. Then my husband has a set that he likes. It's plain, it's boring to me, and I don't like the way the handle feels. It's too wide for me. Now you got to remember, men and women have different ways in how they deal with dexterity. I don't know. They like things different. And it's like, even when my husband holds my hand, he can't always put his fingers between mine because it hurts. And that, I think that has to do with it, is how, the size of our hands and how we use our cutlery and stuff. So that's why we have those 2 sets. But then my grandmother set, I really like. And it's really pretty, and I enjoy when I'm making a lovely table setting to use those. So for me, it's not in excess. It's what I enjoy. I didn't go out and buy new sets. This is just part of something we have. And like David said, we got at a yard sale years ago because he was looking for something that fit his hand better. So do you get rid of this stuff just to make more room? And I guess some people would say so because it's not worth it. Well, with 2 people living in this house, if I threw that cutlery away, I don't think he'd be furious with me, but he would be disappointed. And as a married couple, we want to be able to both enjoy our likes and appreciate the other person's likes without being upset. So those are things that I've had to make a decision on what's important. And there's some things I don't understand why he doesn't want to get rid of. Same thing towards me. So we went through each drawer. I got rid of knives. We did get rid of some cutlery. We got rid of excess things we didn't need. We had one of those, I think it was a Tupperware butter thing. It's like a box. Well, one didn't have the cover or the middle piece, so we got rid of that. Little things like that. And I did not care to go trying to find the extra pieces because I was cleaning up and making space. So that's what we did this weekend. There are some more things I want to do. Like I want to go back through my cupboards and clean them up. My coffee cupboard is all set, which is coffee and tea. And right behind me is our coffee tea center where we make coffee in the morning. I make tea over at the stove, but that's where our coffee center is, and I'll show that in another video because I think I need to get up there and dust it, but basically it's all clean and it's the way we like it, and we've had it for a couple of years like that. It just needs to be tidied up a little bit. It won't take me very much time, and he doesn't need to be here for that because everything goes back. So what's the benefits of downsizing and decluttering? I had to write notes, folks, because there are benefits. So it frees up space in your home as well as in your head. What this did for me was like, I know where everything is now. He knows where everything is. The last time I did that, he wasn't a part of that process. And he would take things out, or I would take things out, and when he helped with the dishes and put things away, he would put it in a place that made sense to him, but was not where I wanted it. So having him help me made a difference. And so hopefully you'll be able to keep up with it. It's just one of those things you got to keep right on it or the drawers get to be a mess. But in addition, when we add things to it, we have to make sure it's going in a place that makes sense to both people. I also got rid of some knives because I gave David a new knife set because he's been complaining about the old ones. We kept a few of those other knives because of how we liked them, but I got him a new set, and he had previously given me a set, and they both complement each other. So this works in our kitchen now, and we have different tools, and he knows how to sharpen knives, but like there were some old bread knives that weren't cutting right, and we have a new bread knife. Those are things that's something that came along during the Christmas season. So another thing that it does, downsizing and decluttering is it reduces the risk of misplacing items and needing to repurchase to replace. And that was something that I discovered, and I knew it was happening, is that as I couldn't find things, I would just give up and just go get it. And I hate shopping. I know people might not believe that, but I really don't enjoy shopping. I do enjoy finding a good deal, and I like if something is going old or cannot be repaired or repurposed, I want to get rid of it. But before I do, I have to find that replacement. So I'm very particular about where I get things. And after these 4 years in some items being purchased on Amazon, I've decided Amazon is not the best place for anything, most especially now. And I'll share that, and I don't know if I'll share it in this video or in another. But anyways, once you get things decluttered and cleaned up, it makes it easier to stay tidy and clean. Plus, if nothing is in your way, I have a tendency to keep lights low. The only reason it looks bright in here is because I got some fancy lights here that are brightening up the area. I like it dark. I use night lights throughout because it saves us money, but it also is easy on my eyes. The only reason these are working, this is like a plant light, and it's going away from me, but it shines off the ceiling to give me the ability to be seen, but also not hurt my eyes. I have sensitive eyes. something I got to live with. So because I live with night lights, it drives other people crazy. Like if my grandkids come over, they have to turn on the lights because they're not used to that. And that's okay. I let them do it, and I put sunglasses on because it bothers my eyes that much. Is it the end of the world? No, absolutely not. It's just we keep it down. Plus, it saves on the electricity a little bit. Night lights are helpful, and I have a few battery lights that I'll turn on once in a while because it just makes it easier. So we declutter, we'll know where things are at, and even in other aspects, if you have too much, you can trip over things, you can do all sorts of things, and that's the case like with shoes and stuff. Be careful that you don't have too much. And we go through our shoes, and it's not for this video, but we go through our clothing and our shoes type stuff, and I think we go through that maybe twice a year to decide, are we okay on shoes? Are we okay on underwear? Are we okay on jeans and all that kind of stuff? And that helps us know what we need to purchase. But that's for another video. So it does not mean to declutter and downsize. It doesn't mean you have to get rid of everything. This is the thing that I'm kind of conflicted. We have the hoarders, which is too much. And that was one of the things I'm like, I think I have too much. Now, we inherited stuff from David's parents, and some of those things are hard to get rid of when it's coming from the family. So we made some decisions, and I have one spoon that my husband questioned me. He goes, "Why do you keep this spoon?" I said, "I am going to make a wind chime out of it." And he goes, "What?" I have an idea for the spoon. It's silver, and it's kind of like that patina is on it. What's it worth? I looked into the value of these things. It's not worth putting in an antique shop. Plus, I like it. Why should I get rid of something that I enjoy? I'm okay with that. And when he realized that's why I knew where it was. It's not in a box hiding somewhere it's not in a craft box where it is, but it's taking up a little space in my utensil drawer, and I like it. So it doesn't mean you have to get rid of everything. What I do is I choose to either, if it's plastic that has seen better days, I get rid of it. One of the things that I am doing this year, and I've been doing it slowly over this past year, is getting rid of all plastic. I don't care the name brand. I'm getting rid of all plastic. I store in glass. We do have some storage units that have plastic tops that I believe I can replace the tops if I need to. But that's what we're using for our food when we go to put our leftovers in. It's easier. I know where it is. And yes, these things can break. But I don't have a dishwasher. We have just human dishwashers, 2 of them. And we just wash them by hand. But I can put those in the oven. I can dump them out into a saucepan or a fry pan and use them in another dish where I mix stuff in. My husband might want to use the microwave, which is not in my kitchen because I don't want it in my kitchen. We have it on the main floor so that if we have a hot pack that we need to heat up for pain, we have it there. But I can't have it in my kitchen because it takes up too much space. So it doesn't mean to get rid of things, just to get rid of things that are not useful if you have too much of one thing. And as I said, I still have too much stuff, but, for some people. But for me, it's stuff that I'm using, so I'm not worried about it. And we did get rid of some of our Christmas stuff. Okay, some of the things, I put different notes down. So we got rid of some, once we got done with the Christmas stuff, that's what we did, was we got in here and we started working on things. One of the things that I came across was this little piece that I got from Tupperware years ago. I actually don't remember when I got it. I might have gotten it when my mother-in-law passed as one of her things, and I was going to toss it. And my husband asked me, he goes, "What's that?" I said, "Oh, it's just something that you put in your pie, and it keeps like apple pie. It keeps the apples from flowing into the plate." And his eyes lit right up. And I said, "Would you like me to make you an apple pie?" He goes, "Oh, yeah." Men are like kids when it comes to apple pies or something that they prefer or enjoy as a baked item. So I said, okay, I'll get that taken care of. And I did. After we were done cleaning, I made him a lovely apple pie, and he likes how that works. Now, I don't like it because it's plastic, and that's why I want to get rid of it. I looked online because we're thinking about finding a metal replacement, and it's a triangular piece. Here, hold on a second. I'll just show you it in use. It's this plastic piece here that it just, when the pie gets smaller, you just keep folding it in. And I'm not sure if that's coming in clear or not. But that's what I found. I have not found a replacement. I went online after we talked and I said, well, I won't get rid of it if you really want me to keep it. But I told him, I said, I really don't want it because it's just plastic sitting up against our food. And so he's okay with me getting rid of it, but I put it in there to show him how it worked. There are other ones out there, but I'm not in a hurry. I'm not going to pay full price at this time because our goal for 2025 is not to spend money on things that are unnecessary. Do I need a pie divider? No. I don't run a restaurant where I have to have all the pieces cut the same because that's all that I could find is one that you put it in the center and it makes 8 servings, even servings, and I think that's pretty cool. But it's not needed. So I decided that I'm going to just wait, and if we see it somewhere sometime, maybe at a yard sale or something, and those are stainless steel. And that is something that I'm looking to get. And then you just put it in once, you got your everything all cut, and then you can, I don't know how it'll do with an apple pie though, because that stuff just kind of runs out sometimes. But that's what we're looking at. So 2025 is going to be the year of no spending. That does not mean we will starve. It does not mean that I won't find that metal pie divider and not get it. If I find it at a price that works in our budget, because one of the things that we're doing is we're working on a strict budget and we have goals, and I can share that at another point. But this will help us stay focused. And as we were going through stuff, we were deciding what's important to keep. And in addition, on our whiteboard, we started putting a few items on there that were important for us to have in order for us to, and it's not just in the kitchen. We picked up a few things that, okay, we need to replace this, but I don't want this in the house right now. We agreed on that, and I don't have any regrets. It's gone. The barrel is 1/3 full of stuff that'll go out into recycling. And these are items that can go into the recycling. There's no knives out there. There's nothing like that. It's just plastic and stuff that they accept, glassware and stuff. Now, I don't get rid of many glass things like my canning jars. I saw another video, they were talking about, you got to get rid of these. You don't need that many. Because that person doesn't can. And, you know, we need canning jars to preserve our food. I use them for a few things. I use canning jars for preserving. I use them for my dry goods. And I also use, like noodles and stuff, and then I put an oxygen absorber in them. And I also use them for my herbs, because when I grow herbs, I end up with a mass amount. I also purchase herbs, but you get a lot, and I need those jars to organize them. Plus, you use them when you're making your tinctures and stuff like that. I make tea blends. So I go through a lot of jars, but we are not purchasing new jars this year. If I come across some that either someone is getting rid of, it's on the free group, or somebody has a real good deal, even then I might not buy them, because I'm trying to I need to control how much I spend and look at what I already have. Now, as we go through the year, I'm trying to preserve more and more as I go. So I have to really think, but as you're preserving, you are also using up what you've already put on the shelf. So there should be a happy medium where you always have a couple boxes of quarts or pints on hand, so that when you use the others, you still have some if you come across a great produce deal or something like that. So those are some things that I'm doing. Let me see. Let's see, we went through one of the other things that we did while we were going through things, because our goal is to move, and we have been looking at houses. We've been looking, and mostly on Zillow at this point, because what we found is the housing market is so crazy. it's really high, and there's a lot of things to consider, which I will share in another video. There's a lot of things to consider. So we still plan on moving. We know exactly what we want. And as we wait, we can slowly go through one cupboard at a time to decide, do we really need this? And in doing that, it makes it a lot easier. And it's like I'm not being forced. We're not being forced to do it all at once. If you are in a place where you don't have to move right away, and you're not in a hoarded situation where everything is crowding around you and making you sick, you can take the time to go through things. How did our house get too much stuff? Some is partly me. I believe during the pandemic, no, I don't believe, I know that during the pandemic, I bought extra stuff. And then we had stuff from when my father-in-law passed. We brought lots of stuff here. And we got rid of tons. And then as I was getting rid of stuff, and David was, we realized, or at least I did, it became a reality that I don't need everything. And so we got rid of stuff. And it was a really good feeling. And psychologically, it has been nice. Let's see, hold on. I already shared that. So basically, the goal of this particular video is to talk about just one section of your home. For me, it was my kitchen, and it's not the whole kitchen. It was a part of my kitchen that I'm using the different cutlery, the different things that I use for baking. I need my measuring cups and measuring spoons and the different bowls. And one of the things I did not get rid of, I like having various bowls because they're fun, but also I use them for different things. Like I have a bowl in the refrigerator right now that has my Greek yogurt in it. I like that bowl for that purpose because it's the perfect size. I can drain everything out and it makes it delightful. The bowl doesn't, but it's the perfect size. And the recipe I use, it's like, oh my gosh. I even use my Greek yogurt as a cream cheese on like a baked potato or on taco mixes. It is that good. Actually, it's better. I'll have to share sometime how I make it, but right now I haven't done a video like that. So that's where my goals are for 2025, is to declutter, utilize what we have. And I think I know where I was going. While I was cleaning, my husband said, how about if I go get that box of items that we put out in the shed? Because we were trying to declutter the house so that we could put the house on the market. And it's like, I can't get it decluttered well enough for anybody if I really wanted to. Because they have their rules of everything has to be decluttered. Like the counters have to be empty. As you can see behind me, they're not completely empty. They're organized, they're clean, and that's because I live here. Now, we haven't decided how we're going to go forward with the moving, but we're making progress on this aspect. The reason we're not going to give up everything is because the houses are too expensive. Now, we've been in this house for a long time. I remember purchasing this house with David. And there were some things that I learned, and how they sold houses back then is nothing like they do today. So we're just going through our stuff and we're making a decision. Do we stay or do we go, or do we stay and prepare to be able to pick up and move? And that really is the thing. It might not be this year. And I had to come to that point, that realization that even though we emotionally are ready, and we had gotten rid of so much stuff so that we could easily pack and go, it wasn't enough for me to say, okay. And we could have sold this winter and so forth. Housing values are starting to come down, but there is so much to consider when you buy a house. And so we're sitting back and saying, okay, we still plan on moving, but in the interim, we're going to downsize and get rid of things little by little. And that is the best way to do it. Now, if you are in a position where you're having trouble decluttering your home, there are some things that you can do. And one of them is just, even if it's just one drawer, take one drawer out and go through like your knife drawer. Just kind of go through and just decide what you're going to keep. If it's your utensil drawer, take them out and just kind of go through and decide. And for us, it was great. We had fun. We joked. We kind of like say, why do you want that? And we just kind of like, not in a mean way, but in a sense of trying to understand the other person's purpose for those items. And that's why if you are living with somebody, you're married, however the relationship is, it's always healthy to discuss these things with each other so that they understand. Now, there are some men that really don't want to do anything with the kitchen. They just want to know where the fork, the knife, the spoon is, where their coffee mug is, and those simple things. But sometimes we are in a position where we can't cook or we can't prepare something. They need to know where that stuff is. And in our house, we both help each other, and he helps with the dishes, and sometimes I do the dishes. He makes the coffee, sometimes I make the coffee. That kind of thing means that we have to work together all the time. So that is one step closer to our 2025 goal of being more frugal, more aware of what we have, more aware of what we can do without. And so decluttering is kind of like, for me, is kind of like picking things up and putting things in place. And the word connotates to me that, okay, we got a bunch of bills, we got this paperwork, the flyers and all that, tidy that up and take care of it. That to me is kind of decluttering. Organizing for me is putting things in place so that, when my lights are down, I'm using just night lights, I can walk in and I know where everything is. Now in my hutch, it's really kind of hard because I've got different sets of dishes in there. I'm looking at it if you see me looking away. That's where my hutch is, and the top shelf has all my dishes and specialty bowls and stuff like that. And I have to take them out in order to use them and stuff. It's a pain in the neck. And that's one of the things that we're looking for in our new home, is if it doesn't have it, we will build in specialty shelves for that. Being in a small home, that doesn't always work out. So if you are in a place where your house is overwhelming, even if you're not looking to buy, even if you're not looking to move to another apartment, if you look at your space and just say, I'm just so fed up with this. Okay, sit back and say, what is it about your space that makes you feel overwhelmed? What about your space do you not like? And then just sit back and say, well, I don't, I'm not putting words in your mouth, but just say, I don't like how cluttered those dishes are in the china cupboard. That's what my husband tells me. And I'll go through and I say, well, this, and this, and I've taken some pieces out and stuff. But for the most part, it works for me. And he doesn't go in there. It's when I'm making special meals and stuff, and I'll take different things out. The cupboards here, the coffee, he needs to know that. So it's working together, and if you're by yourself, then you get to decide. You don't have to have 2 sets of silverware like I do. Do I need them? Do I have to have 2 sets? No. It would give us more space. I actually put them together. I put them away in the same slots. But, sometimes it's just worth letting the other person enjoy what he enjoys or she enjoys. It's called compromising. And sometimes that's what we have to do. But the one thing that one of the goals, and we have a few different goals, is to, as we downsize and declutter, we're making more sound decisions as to what we bring back into the house. Hope that was helpful. And I will be talking about a few other things. I'm so excited about 2025. And I believe for us, we've gone through a lot of emotional decluttering, physical decluttering together, or reorganizing, putting things in place. And this was a decision that we made jointly. And I'll tell you, the one thing I told my husband before we went to bed, I thanked him and I said, I really appreciated you doing that with me. Because when I go through this stuff, I don't want to hurt his feelings. There's some things it's like, I'm going to just get rid of this. But he lives here. And I think that's what keeps our marriage strong, is because we compromise for one another. And yet, at the same time, we're asking each other, are you sure? And instead of saying it in an insulting way, we might say, could you explain what you might be doing with that? Or, why do you want another one? Like another pie plate. I have too many pie plates. Yeah. I can explain that another day. But right now I'm just using two. I have two special pie plates that I really like that I'm actually almost ready to get rid of all those extra pie plates. Now, I used to bring quiche and pies to other places, but we haven't been socializing in a long time because COVID came along. I meant to say 2020, but COVID. That's my new term, I guess. But when that happened, it destroyed people's ability to socialize. And so I'm like, I haven't used them in 4 years. And that's kind of where I was using pie plates all the time. I would also put cookies in them and bring them places. And if they were left behind, it didn't bother me because I always picked them up at a thrift store or a yard sale, and now I don't even think about buying them. So that may be something I might put on the marketplace and stuff. And that's another thing. When we did a lot of decluttering, like this past summer, we got rid of tons. And it was so much, I did not want to do a yard sale at all. Don't like them. I like going to them, but I'm not, I've changed. I'm not looking for the best deal anymore. I'm looking to see what it is we're looking for, and if it's a compatible price comparable to what's in the stores. If it's like canning jars, people are overpricing those. I'm sorry for those of you who choose to sell them at the same price the stores are selling them. The ones you have may not have lids, may not have the rings on them. Well, if you're going to sell them for the same price, I'm going to go to the store and get them. And I can sometimes get some good deals. And as I said earlier, I'm not in the market for jars unless I can get them free or whatever. And when I look at what they have, I don't know if they've been dinged. I don't know if somebody's been pushing. I know how I take care of my jars. So I don't want to pay the top price because I could put them in the pressure canner and they could break. And I realized that when 2020 came along, sewing machines and canning jars and anything to do with those two things skyrocketed. So now the canning jars at the market, at Walmart, it has been the cheapest place to go, although I've seen a change. My grocery store prices are lower. But what has happened is those prices went up. That's inflation. I don't care what anybody says. It's, they can't compare this year to last year because you have to take from 2020 to 2024 and account for all that. And some things have canning jars have almost doubled. I used to get them for less than $10 for a box of 12. And now they're up to 14 and 18, some are 22. So it's like, I just can't do that anymore. So I just wait for sales or if I have an opportunity to do something. So you might see that I have extra when I'm sharing a recipe or stuff, that I have extra of different stuff. I use those things. So I'm not afraid of them being displayed in my kitchen. I'm not ashamed of that, but I am very proud that I took the time to mentally go through and decide, what do I need to get rid of? And is this serving a purpose? Is it an overabundance? And I'm also, before I throw it into the recycle, is it something somebody else would enjoy? And some of these things, like the plastics, they've yellowed. I don't do that. And I also try not to buy anything in plastic anymore, except sometimes our produce comes in little containers, and I don't like that. I just don't like the plastic. So, folks, that's where I'm at. I don't know where you're at. I hope that this might encourage you to New Year's Day to just kind of like say, what do I want to get rid of? And I hope it's a great start for you. Friends, I hope that you're doing well. And I'm praying that 2025 for all of us is a blessing. God bless.